Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Coming back with another lesson. This is the book of Jeremiah 51:9. And it reads, We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. So her sin represents not also the physical sin, but the debt that they in as well. And these other nations, they're going to flee from this country and go back to where they come from, which is also prophesied in the Bible. So with that, I'm going to show you this little article on Google. And as you can see, national debt of 21 trillion. Now, the economy is never going to be 100% fixed because it's not of the Lord. The Lord is going to destroy this place, and he's crippling them from the inside out for the sins of Babylon. The physical sins that they commit on a daily basis. See, Esau never thought about what was going to happen in the end thereof. They didn't consider the latter end. This is the latter end of America. They did not consider it, because they lived delicious for over like thousands of years, and now this is the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is the judgment of the whore, America. This is the judgment. You know, and it's crazy how, like, I see how, you know what I'm saying, they in debt to China. And that's how you know the war, the third war is coming. The third world war is going to actually happen, because, you know what I'm saying, when you go to war, you actually making money off of going to war. And America is already in debt, so it's going to trigger the third world war. Then they giving money to Israel, $2 billion, trillions of dollars and billions of dollars to Israel, and they not even the real Jews. So how could you give money to somebody else when you in debt? It's confusion.
Americans now have the highest debt in U.S. history. According to the Federal Reserve, Americans collectively owe over $1 trillion in credit debt.
I think the greatest threat domestically to the country is this $21 trillion debt hanging over the cloud of America and future generations. And the fact that interest rates are going up, we're going to be paying close to over $400 billion in interest expense, which I think is the number one or number two issue in terms of federal expense to the country.
You say that a huge sell-off is coming, the biggest in my lifetime. When is it coming? First of all, that's the first question. When?
Later this year or next, the decline will start in. But it doesn't happen in a day. And Stuart, when I said it's going to be the biggest market downturn in my lifetime, I mean, that's not so strange to me. 2008, we had a problem because of too much debt. Stuart, as you well know, the debt has skyrocketed since 2008. So when I say it's going to be worse than my lifetime, how could it not be?
And I think that the crisis that is coming is going to be a dollar crisis, and it's going to be a sovereign debt crisis. That's the only way that this thing is going to end. And if it happens in the next several years, which is very possible, so we're now running approximately $100 billion a month deficits in the United States. That's $1.2 trillion a year and rising, right? Because as interest rates are going up, the cost...
David and Goliath is a concept we all know. An arrogant big dude who thinks he's fighting a sword fight, and David changed the rules.
Israel, Salakia. Damn.
cost of financing the debt keeps going up, in addition to the fact that the debt is going up because we're borrowing more money. But this is basically more borrowing than we did under Obama during the height of the Great Recession, 2009, 2010, that time frame. And the economy, in theory anyway, isn't even in recession, yet we're borrowing all this money. The U.S. government, I think, in this next fiscal year is going to spend $5 trillion for the first time in history, to be a $5 trillion in government spending. So government spending is off the charts, borrowing is off the charts. Not only are the budget deficits exploding, but the trade deficits are record highs as well.
Babylon is falling. It's falling.
Today, America is nearly $70 trillion in debt, and that debt is shooting higher at an exponential rate. Usually most of the focus is on the national debt, which is now $21 trillion and rising. But when you total all forms of debt in our society together, it comes to a grand total just short of $70 trillion. Many people seem to